Next video, we'll look at Tyflow pathfinding and how we can use that to attribute different objects, such as arrows along paths. So first things first, we just want to create a line, and this will become the main pathway or road structure that we've got. So once that's created, we can create a couple of other boxes, and these will be the destination objects. So that's the initial destination, well, not destination, the position object, and this is the destination object there. So basically the spawn and then to the end. Next thing we want to put in is the spline offset for the actual path itself, so we get some thickness to it. We can just change that one to 2 meters and then go down and change it to open butt. And then we can also change the keep original spline also, because we won't be needing that one. Now we go back to the modifier and we just want to put in edit poly, so this becomes an actual mesh or a surface, as you can see now. So our next step now is we just want to get the text plus, and this is what our object's going to actually look like that's coming out of the spawn location. So you can now see that we've got a text plus, and we can go to the modify panel. If we go down, we just want to change the actual number and put in 5 instead of text plus. And with that one highlighted, scroll down, it's called wingdings, but it looks like a bunch of arrows, and that means we now have an arrow. Currently, this can't be used in Tyflow until we make it as a editable poly. So first we want to actually extrude it up a little bit, give it a bit of thickness. So it's not just a flat surface. And then just convert that one to editable poly. The next thing we want to do is just put in our Tyflow modifier. So we just click on that one now and we go to the modify panel and open the editor. Just make this one a little bit smaller so it's easier for us to use so we can see both panels. Put in birth as the first one. And the next one we want to be adding is shape. So we'll go and add shape. So that's the shape of the arrow that we'll be using later. The next one we want to put in is the position, not icon. We'll change that one now to position object. And that will be the spawn location. And we can just add that one in there. Make sure that we're deleting any other events. Alright, now that we've got those first four, we can now add in pathfinding. And we add that one a little bit lower there. And then finally rotate, because we want to actually rotate these arrows to make sure that they're lined along the surface. And that is all of the different objects we'll be using, modifiers in Tyflow for this practice. Just make sure they're all in position, as you can see here on the video. You don't want them in the wrong order or it may stuff up the program. With it all ready, we can just change the actual amount of birthed objects. In this case, we've got it 100, but we'll probably change that one later. Make sure the position object is switched to volume so that it can come out anywhere from within that building rather than just the face. And the rotation, we want to make sure that's aligned to the travel direction, which is the direction of the actual mesh that we've got as the road. For pathfinding, we want to pick the mesh as the road, like we've been doing previously. Make sure position object's right and go back down to pathfinding and destination object as that final building. Change the display small dots to geometry so that we can use that arrow. Go back into position object now. Sorry, I mean shape. We want to remove the existing shape and we want to select the arrow that we now have. So if we click on that one first in 3ds Max and then press add selected, now you can see that we've actually got an arrow ready to go, and that is traveling along the path. There's quite a bit too many of them, so we just want to reduce that. So reduce the birth amount to about 10. You can also change the velocity or anything like that as well, just so it's not in a constant line of movement. So now we can change the velocity so we can make these arrows a little bit quicker. So just move that up to about 10 meters per second. We also want to make sure that we're snapping the surface to all frames instead of just the first frame so it stays along the pathway. And if we go to rotation, instead of doing 180, we want to do 90 so they're actually horizontal to the mesh. And so you can see that they're moving now along the mesh. So now if we zoom in, we can see that the arrows are actually moving in line with what the mesh is doing or what the road travel direction is. This allows us to know which direction the traffic is moving along the road.